Hello, hello. Welcome. All right. My apologies, my deepest apologies for being late. That's one of my biggest things. Do not like being late. But I was. And I do apologize. Let me just sort out. Technical difficulties this morning. I tell you, look at this. Whatever it's called, the blurriness, focus, that one. It's all going on. Hey, welcome everyone. Oh, I've got my iPad here, everything's going on. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get into the groove of it, hey. I might have to go and change my camera to manual focus. We'll see how annoying that is. Welcome. Chase, Gojira. What clay do I use? I use alien clay mainly, and a little bit of NSP Chavant medium. That's the one. Chase, are those freeform locks? They are freeform locks. All right, let's get it all set up. So how's everyone doing? Welcome back. Missed last week. Had to get some work done. But I missed it. I really missed it. I talked to Francis, my podcast host, if you're not familiar, about it the other day. It feels weird to not do it. So today, we're going to be doing... Oh, no! Technical difficulties. Hold on. All right. See, we've got Inception going right here. So we've got Sculpt Cam. Un momento. Alright, sculpt. Alright, sit. So, been having some fun sculpting, that's for sure. Don't know why I took my glove off. And I was thinking, I have it, full disclosure, I've not seen Into the Spider-Verse, the new one yet, but I saw this character and he looked bloody cool. And I watched some clips of him and I like his vibe, Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown. And I thought it would be cool to kind of experiment and play around with the character. And I did a bit of a sculpt. And he turned out like he's not finished. Like this is more of like a sketch sculpt. I don't know if that's a thing. Like sculpt for any sculptors out there. Is that is a sketch sculpt? Is it still a sketch? I don't know. But I was thinking this was just for the thumbnail. This is just a quick one before stream. But we can sort of like explore different poses, maybe different kind of faces. Like just have some fun with it, I reckon. Ares, everyone asks how we're doing, never why we do. Well, why are you doing, Ares? Why are you doing? Faha, welcome. Who are Chase? Oh, Denise, that's cool. Nice, puppy sitting. She's sitting me with my 6-year-old cousin. This dude is very cool. I know. He's English as well, by the sounds of it. He's like too cool for school. He's like, yeah, nothing matters really. He doesn't have that much of an accent, I don't think, but it's going to be a fun stream, guys, I reckon. I guess, maybe. But no, he seemed like a cool character. So, we got to warm up. We've got bloody windows and all sorts of stuff going all over the place. Just got to take a breath. And then sort of just cruise into the stream. So, no, wrong. Let's just start drawing. Let's warm up with some with some quick sculpt studies, some inception sculpt studies. I highly recommend, like any 2D artists out there, get into sculpting, like 2D, like on the using like Blender or whatever. But I'm falling in love with this clay stuff. It's very cool. So let's do some quick. So I've got it up here as well if you do want to follow along. It's live mode. It's kind of impractical to do it live mode because it's such a pain in the ass to set up, but it adds a little bit of extra, you know. Lionel, yes, Nomad, fantastic. Very fair, very, very good tool. I love it. Nomad is awesome for the iPad. I do have iPad mode as well, but it's not completely set up right now. But yeah, I want to almost go back and forth with. I've got to learn a workflow really with sculpting and drawing, like my characters, because I think my hunch is it's a good practice to sort of go back and forth between the drawing, the sculpt, the drawing and the sculpt and that sort of thing. Because he's looking a little bit, I don't know, there's a lot to fix on him. The main forms are there. But yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. I need to wake up as well. We're gonna cruise into it. Dylan, welcome. Mashi, welcome. I'm gonna ask the first incomprehensible question of the stream. How do I balance perspective and just making the thing look good? I hyperfocus on perspective and goof things up sometimes. What are you drawing? That's the first question. The first question back at ya. What are you drawing? And that's going to inform my perspective. Denise. Good morning. Yes, it is. It's 10:44 a.m. So it's not morning. It's morning, but it's not that early. Unfortunately. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to play. I just want to play today with the character. So we've got this quick little sketch that I started just for the old thumbnail. Now we've got to look at, I've got some reference images here off to the side. I've got to figure out, also how's the music levels and everything? Is it sort of feeling all right? Lazy boy, welcome. Figures, sometimes faces, some on camera distortion, sometimes I lost my one and watch cool stories. Yeah, for me, it's... Hold on, I need to get some better music going. All right, so this guy's like punk, right? So maybe we'll just do punk. Punk music, get the mood going. This spider punk. Let's just go. I mean, this stuff isn't really punk on whatever Epidemic Sound, but that's all right. I want to play some like the Strokes, the Clash, the Sex Pistols, all that sort of stuff. But monetization goes out the window. Thank you, YouTube. Yeah, so Arez, what's helped me balance these perspective and style and all that sort of stuff is just almost getting so familiar with the perspective of simple shapes. It kind of goes to the back of your mind. It's about control, I guess. So for example, if I'm going to take this guy, right, and just do a quick overlay of what I'm thinking about, because there's a lot of thinking going on here that you're not really seeing. So I'm looking at this overall head shape Oh, it's good to be back, guys. Bloody missed the stream. I mean, it was only a week, but it's good to be back. I appreciate you all popping in. So, the overall head shape is, let's get a different color to make it clearer. Different color. All right, so I'm thinking about this whole thing as like a 3D form to begin with, right? So just because I've done it so many times, not this particular head shape, mind you, but just head shapes in general. I'm thinking about even the skull behind here, how it like sort of fits in. And this is where sculpture comes in super handy, because you actually touch and feel is like, oh, okay, cool. There's like, why do things look right and wrong and blah, blah, blah. But I'm really thinking about things in 3 dimensions, right? All the time. I'm thinking about all this. I'm thinking about his brow. I'm thinking about the hard sort of eye socket of his face. But this has kind of become second nature to me. And this is what I'd recommend getting really, really comfortable with, is sort of free-forming perspective. All right? A good thing to think about is the center line. Excuse me. Is the center line, right, of the face. So this is going to like jut out, in, out, that kind of stuff. And then even the nose, if we simplify, like you can get all this, like these cool shapes and push the shapes and blah, blah, blah. But what I'm thinking about at the base level is how is this sitting in 3-dimensional space as like it's the simplest shape possible, right? So we could even box this out as like the nose kind of thing, right? Really, really simple shapes. The eyes, spheres. That's what they are, right? These eyes are spheres. These ears and the sort of lids wrap around the sphere. Right, and then we've got these ears. These ears are cylinders, right? So I think about these ears kind of, if we imagine like a really sort of short little cylinder, right? Because I've got practice in being able to draw cylinders, spheres, cubes, all that sort of stuff at will, whenever I want, I can sort of turn these ears however I want. So these ears sort of are just cylinders at the base level, right? And this one sort of is facing this direction, and this one's kind of facing this direction. And once you sort of get to the point where, well, there's no like one point in time, right? But once you get used to understanding these simplified shapes, and it's really like, you hear this all the time, but it's really just cylinders, cubes, and spheres we can break all these down into, right? Even this top lip, I could think of this top lip as half of a cylinder, right? Going back in space. Cut that in half, you've got that top lip, and then you've got another half of a cylinder. Cut that in half. Imagine that's going like back in space. A bit hard to see, I hope this is making sense, right? And then I just don't end up drawing that anymore, right? And then you can start pushing these shapes. It's like, all right, instead of just like a really boring like shape of a box, you know, like just a really simple sort of box, we can say, okay, how do I make this box like cool, whatever that means, or different? So we can like push this box into like different shapes, but it's still like a box, right? The box has like a center line and everything. I'm a little bit rusty at the moment. I'm still warming up. But yeah, this is basically all the thinking. Even the bridge of the nose, this is like a cylinder going back in space. So there's all these like hidden cool shapes that I'm thinking about, but you guys don't necessarily see when I'm just going for it. So that's what I'm thinking about. So I'd recommend, it's almost like when you're writing, right? When you're writing words, you're not thinking about how do I draw the E, right? Or the N or the Z, making sure that that line is like this and da da da. When you start when you just know how to write, then you start writing sentences, right? And then you start writing paragraphs, and then you start writing cool stories. And that's a cool little analogy that I just made up on the spot that I think holds up. I hope that makes sense. So it's like, yeah, the fundamentals are super important, but it's really just being able to just do it over and over again. So you're not thinking about doing the thing, you just do it, and then you can play. That's what I'm thinking about. I hope that makes sense. I hope. Ted Krem, it is Hobie from Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, I did start sketching off stream. Yeah. So I've just jumped into this one at the moment. But also because I understand this, right? I understand these simplified shapes. I can then start manipulating. Like, this is kind of like training, like doing sculpture and that sort of stuff is like training with a weight vest on. If we think about like an analogy of like weight training, because now I can see the forms. I can rotate them in my head because I understand these simplified forms. Like if I didn't have the sculpt, I'm not looking at the sculpt, I can kind of guess if I wanted to do like a profile view of where these shapes are going to be. So if I just scale this down, this isn't my usual streams going into depths, but you got me on a tangent and I like it. So if I wanted to do like the profile view, right? I can get this simplified head shape. But then I can think, okay, how does his head shape, his stylized head shape, fit into this profile view? So I can start to think, all right, he's got quite a harsh like cheekbone, so I can throw that cheekbone in, but I'm still thinking about this as a three-dimensional object, even though we're only looking at the sort of side of the face. I can think about, okay, maybe the eyes kind of sit in here, his forehead kind of goes backwards. Right, we still want to make sure we've got the back of the skull in. I know that he's got like a bunch of hair and stuff, like, and that used up all my clay doing all this hair. So I've got to go either today or tomorrow to get some more clay. But I'm just thinking through these sort of accessories or the hair at the moment. And then I think about maybe the eyebrow. And then I think about the bridge of the nose and then coming through. Still thinking about what you're not seeing is I'm thinking about this whole thing as like really simplified shapes. Even the sphere of the eye, how far back is that going to be sitting in the socket? How is the socket sort of interacting with the side of the cheek, you know? And then we think about the nose, the wings of the nose here, the nostrils, and then the lips. Again, if we're thinking about these lips as like cylinders, I'll simplify that over here. Man, I'm just going for it today. Bloody hell. I'm a bit flustered because of all the technical difficulties. So if we think about this cylinder here, right, cut that cylinder, right, we've got the top of that lip, the upper lip, right, and then let's say we do like another cylinder and we think about the bottom of the lip. Might even crack open Blender because it'll be a better way to explain this, right? But then we got like the bottom of that lip, and that's what I'm thinking about in simplified forms, right? So then I think, okay, if I'm doing the profile view and I want to understand where the lip is, I'm thinking about that as like almost like a half a cylinder, and then this half a cylinder is going to go like back in space there, and then we got the lips. Right, he's got more of a pouty kind of expression, so maybe we sort of slide that down a little bit. Right, not perfect. This is definitely like a game of iteration, but he's got like more of a I can't be bothered kind of eye expression. So I know that this excuse me, this eye is a sphere, right? So we come here and I'm thinking about the lids like wrapping over depending on the eye placement, right? These lids are wrapping around. So these lids are lower on that sphere, so the lids have got to be lower on this sphere as well, right? And then we start to play. Maybe the nose comes out a little bit more. Alright, the head comes back. Then we think about the ear. Right, again, cylinder. I'll catch up with chat as well. Kyle, I've actually started to think about story more so in my personal work. It's kind of a swap between the two, but story is kind of becoming way more important in my development, I guess you could say. So this is like a cylinder, and this doesn't look right because it almost looks like I'm looking at it face on. So let's adjust that. All right, let's think about this as like a cylinder going back in space like this. Cut the cylinder off. All right, now we've got the ear, kind of, and then we just tweak it. Maybe it doesn't look quite right there. And he's got like earrings and stuff. Right, and this is what I'm thinking about most of the time. There's a lot more I could sort of dive into, but I don't know how interesting this is. So, but I hope that helps. And you got me off on a tangent, so well done. Dazzling, there wasn't much of a start, to be honest. Nah, no stress. Primal, welcome. Dazzling, no armature in the hair, just slapping it on, and it's super heavy. Is like this is just a bit of wire holding up the sculpt, and I've got to be very careful because he's like a bobblehead, and I didn't account for the weight of the hair. Like I started off with the head. I've recorded the whole, like most of the process as well, and he's almost like a bobblehead. Like if I move the table, it's sort of, yeah. So he's not very balanced. Jay, very true. Yep, intellectualize. Well, at least that's how I like to work. I like to understand, like dive deep into just understanding something inside and out, so then I can use it as a tool instead of thinking about every time I pick up a chisel or a hammer or a screwdriver, thinking like, okay, how do I hold this thing? How do da-da-da? You just use the thing. That's how I think about it. Alex, welcome. Eye design. That was a YouTube video in itself. Ah, great. Awesome. But yeah, that's kind of how I think about it. So then, without doing all this working out, I can just draw, right? I can just come through, and then I think about line work, which is the YouTube video coming up soon. Still working on it. But I don't know. Maybe I'll get it at a different cadence with my YouTube videos, but I like to really think through these videos and spend a lot of time and make it feel, I don't know. I'm also not used to it as well, so I'm a little bit slower with the videos. But now I can sort of come and push these shapes maybe. And then that's what I want to do with sculpting as well. Like I've started off with this sculpt here, just using stills from YouTube and stuff. But I want to then go back, draw the character, and then sort of iterate on the sculpt and that kind of thing. I've been loving sculpting, I tell you what. Definitely going to be a huge part of my artistic journey moving forward. Even like this brow. Like this line here helps me out a ton to really give like form. Whoa. Let's even utilize old mate here. And secret time, no one tell anyone this. I didn't really finish the back because I ran out of clay. But his hair might look like that from the back, but I don't think so. When's the video coming? Hopefully the end of this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Denise, sorry, I just pop back. Just scrub back 5 minutes and you'll be good to go. So I'm just scribbling around at the moment. And this is the thing, you could be as clean or as scribbly as you want. Right? I sort of swap between the two. I sort of go back and forth, and like sometimes I like to be really clean with my line work up front, and sometimes I like to, just explore. And then I've got some reference off to the side here, like of some of his accessories. So he's got like a eyebrow piercing. I think it's on the other side though. But he's got the lip piercing. He's got the whatever, the neck collar thing. Let's have a look. And I might even want to experiment. I want to see if I can get him in like get like reference of someone, like an old school punk rock like pose or something. We'll pop onto Pinterest and see what we've got there, and then sort of see if we can translate, just for practice, see if we can like translate his character onto that. I think that could be a fun little exercise. Supernova, welcome. Great to have you. No, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing good as well. What are you guys working on? Alright, think about the hair as well. Sort of, I like to think about the hairline. Now his hair was like a tricky one, because I mean it's animated, right? So they can just like throw shapes all over the place, and it's like cool. And I want to actually fix his hair, because his hair almost looks a little bit too realistic. It's too early in the morning for that. Good luck. No, I just got to jump into it. He's got all these piercings and that sort of stuff. P, yep, this is Obi. That's it. I reckon let's just go right into reference gathering. Let's go full screen. Let's go. Actually. Why is this not showing up? Come on. There we go. All right. Let's do like punk. Maybe fashion. Let's try that. Let's explore. I wouldn't mind him actually holding the mask or something. Maybe. That could be cool. That's so many windows. Oh my god. Alright. Punk. Let's go like guitar. See if we can add a guitar in there. It's a little bit too contrived, that one. I'm just looking for that pose. Looking for the pose, and then we can just go for it. Super. Welcome. Jesus. Ah, that's awesome. Nah, glad to hear it, and welcome from Panama. Very cool. Looking for the pose. Come on, give us a good one. Maybe like instead of punk fashion, we'll just go punk guitar. I wouldn't mind actually having it kind of like old school kind of vibe. Got old mate, what's his face? Billy from Green Day. That's kind of cool. I like that vibe. Maybe just start throwing some reference into the... Just be sloppy with it. Who cares? Throw it into Photoshop. Oh, now it's just giving me a literal punk guitar. Corey Scribble. Would practically drawing normal cubes and cylinders be without modifying them still help me learn? 100%. If I'm not actually trying to assemble the forms together to build a face, yeah, take it in stages. Like if I'm just doodling, I'll just do cubes and cylinders and that kind of stuff, and then I'll try and mesh them together, and then I might do them in... oh, that's cool. I might try and do them... I do like that one as well. I might try and mesh them together, do them in context of, say, like a figure or anatomy or a face or something. Like, you can do it in stages. Doesn't have to be, like, strict. Like, you have to do this. These stylized shapes, so you don't have to meld them together. Experiment. And the biggest thing is, like, having fun as well. Like, that's... You got to be enjoying it, and you're going to learn so much more if you actually enjoy doing this stuff. Let's just start playing with these ones. We've just happened to have Billy, what is it? Is it Billy Joel? I don't know. Old mate Green Day over here as our main reference pieces. And let's just do some quick gesture. Now, a thing with gesture, I do struggle. Like, I haven't yet figured out how to really explain gesture, because it's not as simple. Although they kind of look like stick figures, just like what I did earlier, there's a lot of thinking that goes behind them. Like when I'm trying to do this, I'm thinking about a lot of the perspective. I mean, it looks real rough at the moment. I could have his hand here holding the mask, or the like the Spider-Man. What is it? Spider-Man mask? Would you call it? Yeah, I guess. So he's sitting on a drum stool, or a drum throne, as they call it. Hobily spider strong. Oh, Katewa or Kate Wa. Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic to hear. No, it's my pleasure. Thank you for popping in. Alright, so yeah, he's looking pretty crazy at the moment. But I don't know if it's like the punk rock kind of vibe. This session's, but I'm just going scribbly as at the moment. And that's kind of the art style that he's got going on, right? But I want to try and make it my own. At the same time, oh, of course, I've got it on the same layer. Ay, Dios mío. And I'm really enjoying actually having everything in like all on top of each other recently, like all these ideas all sort of melding into one another. This could almost be like a magazine cover as well. He's got, I think maybe Chuck Taylor's on, or Vans or something. Right, so this is like scribble gesture. You can kind of like with sculpting, I'm going to keep talking about sculpting because I'm in love with it at the moment. But you can even like do gesture with sculpting as well, like quick little ones. Alright, so let's think about these shapes that I'm doing here. Let's move his face out of the way. How is this view for you all? Does this all is this all clear? You can all see such wasted space over here. That's alright. So let's think about this. Let's move some of my reference over here. Oh, such a schmozzle. Alright. Let's simplify some of these forms. Can we push it any further? Like, almost, yeah, looking down at us. He's like, I'm too cool to even be here. So we've been thinking about this sort of head angle. Right, think about this knee. This knee's, again, cylinders. Super, super helpful. This knee is sort of coming out towards us. This knee is also coming out towards us. Right, and then it's sort of, he seems a little bit taller, the Hobie character, so you can sort of have his legs a little bit longer. But this leg is going back in space against cylinders. Got to find the balance as well. Ah, Thun Guns. Good to see you. Oh, Chad, very cool. Yeah, you were feet away from Billy Joe. Billy Joe, is it Billy Joel or Billy Joe? I don't know. Super Trooper, yeah, 100%. The simple shapes are fantastic. Glenn Vilpo is fantastic as well. Highly recommend checking him out if you haven't already. But yeah, it is kind of like a personal thing, and that's kind of what I was talking about even in my last video, my YouTube video, is like, yeah, take what you want from all these masters. That's what I do. I sort of say, oh, that makes sense, and then as I go and practice it myself in my own context, it makes even more sense, and then I've got different experiences than those people. You know, I've got different ways of thinking and different things that I'm into. And then I have my own context around things and different ways of making sense of the world. All right, let's have a look at this head. So now, because what I talked about before, understanding these simplified shapes with his face, we can sort of then try our best to, let's move pure ref out of the way. You can't see pure ref really, but can I hide that? Thank you. Ugh, and it's on the same layer as well. Scumbag. All right. Now let's knock this back. Let's see if we can place the head in a particular direction, trying to keep the character still. Alright, so he's still doing simplified shapes, and I'll do a bunch of iterations as well, in like a, not like this isn't a real one, but if I was doing it by myself, I'd do a shit ton of iterations. Maybe he's got that like snarl, like that like sort of thing going on. Another quick tip with the head direction with the ears. I love the ears because they tell a lot about the head direction, like the orientation of the head. He's got quite big eyes. So we want the eyes to be kind of looking at the camera. The camera meaning the viewer. He's like, what are you doing here? Just get the basic shape of the hair. Now, what is he wearing? I haven't seen it yet, so it's kind of got a... Like, I like this. So maybe he's half got his... Like, maybe he's wearing his suit. And he's just taking his mask off. So what's he got? He's got, like, this vest on. Alright. Does it have a collar? I don't know, we'll just make it up. We'll just punk rock it, who cares? Doesn't matter. Let's do I love big forearms. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's I want them myself. But I always do big forearms. Maybe have his hand down here as if because he's holding the mask. You'll be able to see a little bit of the mask. And the basket case video. Oh, that's a good idea, Chase, actually. Looking at video to get different expressions. That's a really good idea. Yeah, Denise, no stress. This stream's going to be up there. You can go check it out after. Straight P, welcome. Awesome. Appreciate you following us on Instagram. Thank you. Yep, there is a Discord group. I've got to be more active in there, mind you. I've just been flat out. And there's just a lot of platforms to try and juggle. But yeah, people were posting in there all the time, I think, from what I've seen. So yeah, feel free to pop in there, share your work. Kai, welcome. Super Trooper might not be sculpting today because it's a bit of a setup, and I've kind of like run out of clay, so I could actually like do some carving, maybe. Probably not though. I reckon I'll do it as like a separate stream. Chalkboard, Duncan, welcome. Fahar, yeah, that's a kind of an illusion that I know where the lines need to go. I'm kind of there's Kim Jong-gi says this. He said this in one of his interviews. He's like, it's a shame that you can't see the invisible lines that I see. And that's so true. Particularly as I've started to share more and more of my process and my thinking and that kind of stuff. I'm kind of looking at this and I don't even... How do I explain it? I kind of see the invisible... Like I'm using all these lines underneath as a guide. And as I go... I'm trying to... I kind of see what's underneath before I put the line down, or at least I'm thinking about it. If that makes sense. And then I throw the line down. But it's still very scribbly at the moment. So we've got his knee there. Yeah, that's a huge foot. That's a foot and a half. Let's knock that back a bit. But yeah, we're going to do iterations. We're going to iterate and... go back and forth and back and forth. So he's sitting on that stool. He's sitting on something, so we want to make that clear. What guitar does he have? Does he have a particular style? I do have a couple of guitars that I could use as reference, but I'll just get some. So what is it? Hobie Brown. Hobie Brown. Not Hobie Born. Okay, so he's got the guitar at the back of his... Okay. That's a fan art, I think. So yeah. Something like that. I don't think it matters too much. We'll just, whatever. Just for the sketch. But even thinking about this as like just a simple shape. This will be a cool one. Maybe this turns into a post. It's got potential to take it further, I think. Ares, is my hobby a toothpick or a cigarette kind of guy? I feel like it should be a cigarette kind of guy. But maybe we say like a toothpick with nicotine in it. There we go. He's like trying to quit. Chris, welcome. Sugar Beads, good to see ya. Love the nose on the middle right. Thank you. No, I do. I enjoy his shapes. That's why I sort of wanted to explore the character a little bit. Popeye forearms, that's right. Commotion, how you doing? Welcome. Adam, I'm back. Yeah, back in the streams. I missed him. Ephraim, good to see you. Kate Wah. Yeah, just saw that quote, invisible lines. Yeah, that's where I got it from. It was a nice little catch that I found on his video. All right, so we've got this iteration. Now, let's maybe throw this on this side. Sorry, I'm looking at the other screen. I need another monitor. I do have another monitor, but I should use it. Move this here so you see more. And I think that works better. So you can see my references, or some of them. I like. All right, so let's knock him back. So we've got these sketches, duplicate, knock him down. This could be a fun thing to do, like with the Filthy plugin as well, to just do more scrappy lines. I want to stay somewhat true to the style, but I also want to give it my little sprinkling of my own stuff, you know. Oh, indigestion. My goodness. Okay. I'm drinking cold coffee though, that could be it. Let's refine. Now it's interesting, this, like you look at this screenshot that I got off of YouTube, his eyes are quite big, right? But then you come here and it's just like different views in different angles. He looks kind of slightly different, and it could be because of the art style, because of the lines and that kind of stuff and the lighting. And that's why I recommend getting a bunch of different references if you're trying to get a likeness, so you can have a bunch of different context. So let's see. Ares, it is, isn't it? Chris, yeah, wrapping lines. Wrapping lines help a ton. Alright, so let's get a little bit more careful with our, not careful, but just thinking about our lines a little bit more. So I'm trying to like connect these with the underlying structure as well, so it sort of still feels balanced. That's one thing that I've learned a lot, is trying to connect my shapes keeps the symmetry where it needs to be. Not like symmetry is a must, but for the eyebrows, I want to sort of keep it on the same structure, on the same form, if that makes sense. Because we're looking up at the nose, we're going to see more of the underside. He's got quite a big upper lip as well, especially with like a snarl. And that snarl, if you look at your own face as well, if you do different like expressions, it's going to push the shapes. They're all interconnected. So the nose on this side, because I'm going to have him have a bit of a snarl, his nose can sort of maybe be up a little bit. And I'm going to do probably more iterations on this as well, so this isn't the final by any means. And this is a big shape I'm seeing, this kind of diamond shape of the face, you know. So I'm keeping that in mind. He's just too cool for school, hey? Arrows, yeah, good point. Should be seeing invisible lines probably means you're good at imagining. Yeah, but I think that's a lot of practice as well. Like you definitely got to practice imagining stuff. Didn't come naturally to me. And I'm still working on it. I've not mastered it yet, and I never will, probably. But the pursuit is the fun part. Give the canvas an old flip. Yep, his head looks wonky. You flip it, and it just all goes to shit. That's alright. Now he looks a bit boss-eyed here, so you just got to be careful with where his eyes. We want him to look bored, not simple. That's the goal. Karim, all my stuff is in the description, what I'm using. I want to really simplify this hair as well, because it could be easy to over complicate the hair. So I'm thinking about the big 2D shape to begin with. I like this. This tells me a lot, this view. So there's almost two parts to the hair from what I'm seeing. There's like this upper part, and you got the back that's coming down like that. All right, his neck. This neck, anatomically speaking, is incorrect. All right, because unless it like tweaks back like that underneath his head, which I don't think it would. So let's make this larger. Move this over. All right. So let's do some surgery. No, what am I doing? This is what I want. No. There. So let's move the neck just over. So that gives us these things, something called a T-line, which I actually talk about in my new YouTube video coming out soon. I'm just willing it into existence because I've just got to keep telling myself you've got to post the bloody thing. These T-lines shows really clearly what's in front and what's behind, right? So there's like a T-line here. Yeah, the eyes need some work. Maybe a little bit too far apart. That's all right. We'll come back to the face. We've got the base there. We can refine later. So let's take a look at his body. Here we go. That's a cool, good look at what he wears. So he's got his neck thing. I don't like the eyes, sorry. I've got to fix the bloody eyes because it's going to annoy me. Let's just remove the eyes for now. I can imagine what they'll look like. They're going to look better than what they are now. So he's got these like shoulder pad things here as well, which is cool. What's my opinion for the Renaissance vulture and the spot art style in the movie? I don't know yet. I've seen this spot. I've seen some really cool art on the spot. I want to do one of that guy as well. But I've not seen the movie yet, and I haven't really dug too deep into the different art styles yet. But it's on my to-do list. And the cool thing is, I might be able to, because this is a business, I could write off the movie ticket. This is not financial advice, but from last stream, that was like something that we talked about. So he's like more on the lanky side, because he's still a Spider-Man, right? His head needs to be bigger. Oh, I'm not on the same layer. You dickhead. Let's merge. So let's think about his body as well. Don't worry about the guitar for now. So we've got his torso. Imagine his ribs. Sort of. So we've got to think. He's kind of like leant forward like that. So this might go back in space. So like his... Imagine his pecs. Going back in space here. Kate, well, I know, I definitely do. I definitely need to check it out. I also like to, if I want to get super involved in the anatomy, I want to think about what he's sitting on and how that relates to the pose in his like pelvis here with his legs. Now there's some proportion issues here. I think maybe. His head's a little bit too like tilted, like what? So let's tilt him back so he's like looking up. Let's see if we can make this feel more. And I think the hair is not doing its justice in the scheme of things for how I want the perspective to go. So he's sort of like leaning back. Faha, that's very cool. That's wicked. We might have to experiment with that for sure. Alright, so let's think. This could be a time to go back to sculpt mode. Think about it. See? So heavy. This is like probably half a kilo. So if he's looking up at us, that's the kind of thing that we're going to see. We're going to see. It's almost going to. How do I show that? Here we go. That's better. So this is like the size of it. All right. Focus. There, so we've got to think about, okay, if he's looking, oh, come on. Focus. Focus. On one of us. Come on, you can do it. Just technology, do what I want you to do. Come on. What do they do on YouTube? Do that shit? Does that work? Gotcha. Yeah, so that's the kind of vibe that I'm going for. So what we can actually look for are some of these cheekbones. Oh, just knocked his bloody ring off. That's okay. So underneath, like, depends on how far we want the head to tilt back. This, we're going to be seeing more of this. We're going to see more of underneath the jaw here, which is helpful. All right, so, and all the, what you call it? Here we go, this might be better. There we go, this is what I'm talking about. That's clearer. So we're going to think about him sort of up like that. All the like features are going to be compressed. So instead of looking at him head on, they're going to be like up like that. So his lips are going to be closer to his nose. His eyes are going to be closer to his nose as well. So that's like foreshortening. I like this. Room tour. Bam. what I'm working on at the moment. Stylized anatomy. That's going to be available in a few months as well to get if you are interested. Same as old mate here. Whoop. I changed his expression completely so he's more interesting. Fuck, I love sculpting. Alright. Let's throw him back. Stay. Thank you. Alright, so now we've got some information. We've got something to work with, and I don't know where I put my pen. Wherever I put my pen. Here we go. Alright. So, that's what is going on here. So, let's have the nose here. Let's have the lips closer to the nose. Everything's going to be more foreshortened. We're going to see those shapes of the jaw. The eyes, they're probably going to be down a little bit more because it's even more foreshortened. That's better. Better, better, better. I like. Ears. Where the ears might be. I think the because you're looking down like that, the eyelids would probably even be lower. That's better. Yep. Eyelids are lower, maybe the eyes are a little, just a tad higher. Maybe. No. Eyes are probably lower. Yeah, we can tweak it, but we've got a step closer. Let's go back. Sugar beets, flat hand behind the model. Yeah, I wish that worked. It's because the camera's actually quite far away because I've got a different lens. Alright, so we've got his clavicle here. Kate, this is just a brush I made yesterday, actually. It's just that square one. You can make this really easily. I think a stream, maybe last stream or the stream before that, I showed you how to make, or I showed, not you, I showed everyone how to make a really quick brush. I'm not precious with my brushes. Really doesn't matter too much to me at this stage, at least, anyway. All right, his legs sort of down too much. Should be kind of out a little bit more maybe. Then back. Something like that maybe? I don't know. So it's still very rough. We're still exploring. The guitar strap or something. So we've got these pokey bits. Yeah, the balance is off, right? So if we move these guys down here, so the whole balance is off. So maybe his legs sort of spread out a little bit more like that. Or what could be cool, like from a pose perspective, not a huge change. Have him sort of holding the guitar like that, then holding his mask. Alright, knock it back, get clearer with our thinking. What's that little artifact there? Oh my god. Wrong layer. Okay. R is nice. Firearms. I don't think you can say fire. Well, I said it, so whatever. I think firearms would get you demonetized. Spider-Verse, mixed with machines. Yep. Is there any media that inspires you? You said a lot of them. But I like mixing and matching them with more traditional styles as well, like oil painting, like that kind of stuff. Like the animated, stylized kind of thing, mixed with those kinds of hanky panky. I'm a bit I like that. I like that a lot. That's great. Well done, Super. I might actually look at this myself. Eduardo, welcome. So if we went like that, he's just hanging his arm down. Taiki, welcome. Now we can add like layers to the hair, right? So we've got this sort of chunk of hair. It's going to be here. Then we can think about this chunk of hair going back in space. This hair going back down here, back there. This one's behind that one, behind that. Alright, let's think about anatomy. Excuse me. Yeah, Toki, me neither. Me neither, but I'm in love with it. The style. All right, let's think about his torso. So it might come down there, something like that, and then the leg pops out from his torso there, this one like that. Guitar basic shape. It looks a little bit marionette, like puppet. So we need to make it look a bit natural, a bit more natural. So maybe have this angled. Dewey Doo. What version? Oh, there's a how to upload it in when you download it. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. It works with Photoshop 2021 to the most recent as well. Oh, Ares, good call. Good call. We have some sort of speaker there, so his knee's like up. Alfie, how do I simplify the ear? Literally like that. I'm thinking of it as cylinders, right? So really simplifying it and just going pop like that. Speaker. What makes the most sense there? Maybe if we just start with a simple box in perspective. Move Billy Joel away. And then we can make it look more like an amp or something. Do want to keep balance with it though, so that's, we don't want to. It's a good idea. I might return to that after. Maybe it's more like this. See, this is all still gestural, right? This is, I sort of go between gesture and thinking about really like the structure of stuff. Oh, super, you're making me work. Dooey doo woo woo. Yeah, flick us a message and let us know what's going on. You can email me, or you can, I think, write a comment or a message through Gumroad, and we'll have a look at that. Yeah, super. I have actually. I've been thinking more and more about that. It'd be fun to explore. Kate Wah. How did I decide? How did I figure out that art is what I wanted to do? Right now, you're pretty confused deciding your future. And would love my perspective on the art industry and everything. Good question. I don't know. Like I've been drawing on and off for my whole life, right? My background's in software, so it's not always been my main focus. Only in the last like year and a half, maybe 2 years now, I've thought more about this actually being a career, but not in the traditional sense, right? Not in the traditional sense of wanting to go to a studio or work for anyone like that. It's kind of like a new way of thinking about, not new way, but just a different way of thinking about sort of art career, I guess. For me, I want to sort of just make art and content and create products and sell my art eventually and that sort of stuff. So that's where I think, like for me, is where I want to go with it. I'm not too familiar with this quote unquote art industry myself. I don't have much experience in it. I feel like I've come into the industry kind of through the back door. I didn't really go to school for this stuff. I think there's more opportunity than ever to get into it nowadays. Well, not like nowadays, but like it's a very interesting space to get into, particularly with content and social media and that kind of thing. There's kind of infinite possibilities of how you can A, monetize, and B, get your work out to more people as well. If I can get paid, make a good living from doing stuff I enjoy, that's what I'm going to try and do. All right, I think I've got to clean up my line work and my thinking. So let's do another iteration. Oh, it's always artifacts. My grand plan is to do education, right? So like teach, but also have a big part of the business be actually selling my art. But I also want to create like a community of like creative content creators as well, like in the art space, kind of like actually have a studio, kind of what 1000's just done. Like he's gone and bought a massive warehouse where he does a lot of his fulfillment for like products and that kind of thing. That's the goal. That's what I'm really set on, is creating a space both online and in person where it's like I've got a studio, I'm selling, whether it be sculptures, prints, all sorts of cool stuff, but also having like a studio where I can actually record from, get other people in there doing podcasts. I want to spin this up into something pretty cool, I reckon. That's the goal. That's what I'm like laser focused on at the moment. Yeah, super. That's exactly kind of what I'm going for, but my own sort of version of that. Starting small to begin with, of course, but yeah, I'm pretty set, and that's only sort of come about, or I've been thinking about it quite recently. It's like, what do I want to do? You know, like I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. That's what I always say. Like it's the cool thing is that I don't know what I'm gonna be doing in the next however long. Like that's the exciting thing to me. And being fortunate enough to have a little bit of a following online has helped make that clearer for me as well, which is why I always, if you guys do have any questions around social media and that kind of stuff, I'm always happy to chat about it, because I think of the whole thing as like a creative, without sounding wanky, like a creative expression, I guess you could say. Like I really enjoy the video editing. I really enjoy the live streams and talking to you guys and sort of doing things live. I really enjoy crafting the posts. I really enjoy crafting like the tutorials and the courses that I'm going to be putting out as well. And it's sort of like a nice symbiotic kind of thing. I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I am. But I started with like no following. This was literally just, 2 years ago? Absolutely nothing. Like maybe 500 followers, and most of those were just like friends from high school and stuff. So Mixed, you absolute legend. Sugar beets, that's what I'm saying. Why can't, like, I want a bit of a tangent. That just reminded me of something. I've been watching a lot of Tony Hawk podcasts recently with Jason Ellis. Love those guys. Jason Ellis is freaking hilarious. He's an Australian skateboarder. Fucking love the guy. He's so funny. And just talking about their journeys and how it wasn't always like Tony Hawk wasn't always Tony Hawk. There was a time where he got really popular, and he had like a house when he was in high school, and then skating kind of dropped off a lot, and then he was trying to like make ends meet, wife and kids, blah blah blah, and then sort of things started to ramp up. He created his own skate brand, Birdhouse. And then now he's Tony Hawk, and then he had the opportunity with the game and that kind of thing. But even what he's fostered as well, like the whole, like you go to his skate, like his warehouse, and he's just got people that he allows in to use his skate ramp, and people are creating stuff. People are like skating, they're having fun. That's what I would like to have. I want to have a place like that, but instead of skating necessarily. Well, like, that could be cool to have a half pipe in there, but just to be like, oh, we've got so and so, they're doing a video right now. So and so's making an awesome piece of art over there and doing a live. Over in that office, you got someone like I really want to make like a hub of just cool shit. But yes, drumming would be fun as well. He doesn't he, Sugar Beats? He just seems like a really chilled sort of dude. I recommend Hawk versus Wolf, the podcast. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. Just to get inspired. I love it. And I used to skate back in the day as well until I broke my arm. And then I never skated again, unfortunately. Kate Wah, yeah, definitely. I mean, again, also listening to advice, I don't think advice is bullshit, but I kind of do at the same time because I can only come from my experience. I don't have the answer, but I can just share how I got it going. A lot of it had to do with sharing the process. Very little of it had to do with sharing just the final piece, if that makes sense. And I think it's going to be more and more important, and where I think a lot of people are freaking out about the AI stuff. I think it's a massive opportunity to show yourself as an artist, your way of thinking, your personality, what you bring to the table other than just the final finished piece. That's a lot more interesting to me than just making a nice image. You know, that's part of it. But it's just like how I'm branching off into like sculpting now. And I might branch off into other things, but they all tie into each other. So I'd start sharing a little bit more, if you're comfortable with that kind of thing, sharing a little bit more about yourself. And I've got no context on your goals or anything like that. But I think there's a big opportunity in the next like 5 to 10 years to actually share you as a person, what you're working on, how you think, your life experiences, that kind of thing. Sugar Beets, I know. Yeah, it was just 7. You're an OG, just hanging out. But that's the thing, I was doing it because I enjoyed it as well. And it was a way for me to start getting into and get practice. Like these streams initially were started to practice talking on camera and get into the YouTube swing of things. And when I say like sharing the process as well, I don't mean just like tutorials and that kind of thing, because I don't even see myself as much as a teacher. Rather than like some people see me as that, and it's kind of like I get it, but I'm just sharing what I'm finding out, you know. And if it helps, that's awesome, and I'll try and make as much sense as possible. But it's, yeah, you can't put me in a box. Tiny Mitch, welcome. Sugar Beats, yeah, he seems just like a really chill dude. You know, you just get vibes about people. You're like, oh, that person's like, you've never met them, and I tend not to judge straight off the bat. But you just get a vibe from people. He just seems like a really nice dude. But he even goes into his struggles with how he was trying to build Birdhouse and how he kind of didn't spend as much time with his kids as he'd like to have, and how he sort of evolved as a person and fame and all that kind of thing. It's fascinating. I should work with Sony. I'll just call them up. But that's also another thing as well. As I've started to do some contract work for people and work on other projects with other people, the more and more I'm liking doing my own thing, because it's an energy game at this point, right? This YouTube video should have come out weeks and weeks ago, but it's just like things keep popping up and popping up and popping up, and there's like an opportunity cost that you've got to think about when you take on projects. It's just, yeah, it's interesting. You see me as a blurry, so I know this freaking camera. I'll tell you what, Sony will call you. I doubt it. I do not think so. But that's the thing, like even diversifying your income stream so you're not reliant on a studio or a piece of work or a job or something. That's the goal. That's the dream. His head still looks weird to me. Like the connection between the neck and the head. Let's Drive by Chin Thaka. Welcome. From Sri Lanka. Good to see ya. Good to have you back. Yeah, this I think his neck's maybe a bit too long. A little bit better maybe. Ares, I love the technicalities. The sternocleidomastoid indication on the left of the neck might also indicate the flow of the cylinder. It certainly will. That's this thing here. If it's in focus. This one here is what Ares is talking about. So I want him to kind of be like slumped a little bit more. So maybe his neck's out, maybe his shoulders are a little bit higher. He's just like too cool for school. How would I start a big oil painting? Like what part of the face? I'm procrastinating. I would think of the head shape and the overall larger shapes first. I want to get into oils as well. I want to get into physical painting and that kind of stuff. That's what so much to do, so little time. I get annoyed at when it comes to like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. I'm like, shit, the day's almost over. It's so annoying. Yeah, Super Trooper, I think you are actually correct. I didn't mean actually as like, oh, that's a surprise. No, I think you're right. But yeah, this is the issue. It could there's a lot of tweaking to do with the head. And I think even moving maybe moving everything up a little bit more. Even this under drawing. Better. Good call, Super. Look at that teamwork. Yep. Teamwork is the best work. That's it. Makes the dream work. All right. Now let's think about this leg. I like to cap off the knee. Actually, I wonder if we go to a big shout out to Diego. Instagram. Diego Lucia. Diego Lucha. He does knees really nicely. There we go. And like legs. I love how he simplifies the leg and the knee. Oh, can you even see that? Hold on. There. Like the leg and the knees. Again, they're just cylinders, right? But I really like how he simplifies them and how they're sort of connected. So I'm going to use this way of thinking to position these legs, I reckon. So maybe take a quick screenshot of that. Shout out Diego. Well, let's get clean shot up. Yep. Bada bing, bada boom. Something like that. Because this is what reminded me of it. This leg angle, right? So even though it's stylized, we can like stylize this how we want. There's still that kind of deal going on. Alright, that's why I was saying I like to cap the knee off. Alright, because it gives it some structure, gives it like an angle. So it's 11 a.m. Is it 11 a.m. or 11 p.m.? Do you think it should start? It's going to be so much oil paint. I'm still procrastinating. Get it started so then you can come back to something. That would be my suggestion. Get it started, get it going, so then you've got something to work with when you come back to the easel or the paper or whatever you're working on. Okay. Yeah, Diego's great, Sugar Beats. He's fantastic. I know him personally. He's good. Good dude. Yeah, this lower. You can play with legs out here. Wolfsbane. Catch you later, Dylan. Welcome, Wolfsbane. Blissful. Welcome. Sugar Beets. Oh, that's a good start. You got the paint out. That's good. Arrows. That's a good idea. I was thinking that. That's what I was thinking. Like, they're too like just split out. I didn't want to copy this 100% either. So maybe one of his legs is sort of coming down this way. Maybe. Just like has to go back a little bit. Apologies if this is boring. This is what it's about. Just iterating, trying different stuff out. Yeah, I'll flip. Katewa. No, of course. Appreciate you popping in. Try inversing the extended leg knee going in instead of out. Try inversing the extended leg. I'm not sure what you mean. Like, see, you have the calf popping out that way as well. Yeah, the calf might pop out there as well. let's add in some more of these lines so we can let's move them out of the way. Move this. Rotating it inwards, like moving it more so it's like looking towards us. Is that what you're talking about? Trying to find the balance though. That's the only thing. Oh, he's got shoes, doesn't he? He's got like Chuck Taylors or Doc Martens or something. The guitar's neck could make some nice unity with the extended leg. So like out, so the guitar neck there. And then the leg like that. That looks cool. But it almost looks like he's posing a little bit too much. It's a balance with this. This pose is tough. It's a tricky one because I want him to like not care. That one almost looks a little bit like I want to be here. And this is where like that question of story comes in as well. Like, what's the attitude here? It's just like, all right, hurry up, take the photo. I've got places to be. Yeah, shoes I always find tricky because it's a very fine line between having them look like they're on the floor and look like they're floating. Still looks a little bit too try hard for me. I might have to take some reference myself later. Maybe his legs kind of like turned out. Actually, maybe it's break time. Break time, I reckon. It is tricky, isn't it? Shinthaka, I think. Squat time. Oh, good call, Aries. You called me out. I like it. All right. Squat cam. Oh, shit. All right. How many are we going for? What do you reckon? Let's go for 40 this session, and we've upped 5 kilos from last session. So yeah, let's go 40, not all at once. Let's go maybe like 15. I don't know if that was in frame or not. Forgot to keep track of it. That was 15. Gonna keep healthy. All right. What am I doing? I need to go get another. Oh, fuck. I need to go get another coffee. I'll be back shortly. I will be back in 5. That's just him saying it because he's got attitude. Vampy. Yep. Hobie. Super legend. You did it with me. Fantastic. All right. I'll be back in momentarily. All right. But I want to change it to manual focus. Hold on, give me a sec. Shit. Fuck. I need like a standing. Okay. The stick is my head. I need that in focus. Okay. Good enough. All right. My cardio is shit house. Okay. We're back. I did stretching. That's good. I've actually got to get into stretching myself. I really want to get flexible. But he's doing squats without. I would never. How dare you? Oh, I appreciate it, Annie. Oh, yeah, I should really throw old mate Hobes and goes. Put him back. All right. What were we doing? That's right. Drawing Hobie. Mark, I know. Is that bloody Benjamin Eblin? It is. Oh, I know, it's been a week. Let's get the view back. Oh, I need a shave. Bloody hell. What deplorable. All right. Have I jumped on the spider Sona trend yet? What's that? No, I haven't. Primal. Yeah, it is. I guess content creation and like my main source of income is the Gumroad tutorial. Shameless plug, Gumroad tutorial. Links in the description. I go through the whole process with my thinking and all that good stuff. Squat instructor. Not even personal trainer. I just specialize in squats and squats only. I mean, there would be people like that for like Olympic squatting. And workshops is another way that I make a living, and actually consulting recently from a social media side of things for businesses. And soon I'll be selling my art as well, so that's going to be a bloody exciting adventure. I cannot wait for that. Olympic squatting, yeah, like powerlifting, all that sort of stuff. Maybe not just only squatting, but it'd be like deadlift, bench, and yeah, squatting, powerlifting, all that sort of stuff. There's like a real technique to it, or you could really hurt yourself. All right, where are we? The legs are giving me issues. Primal, nah, no commissions. Not at the moment, anyway. Never say never. Vampy, I haven't yet. I haven't. I've just seen this Hobie bloke and he just looked cool. Lucy from Disenchantment. I'll have to see who that is. Yeah, I really want to like keep my style, or whatever that even means, in sculpture though. Like I really want to keep it consistent, so you know it's a me sculpture. Yeah, Vampy, definitely. I've just been pretty time poor recently. Probably I've got to check it out for sure. So if the hand is kind of then this balances that out. The guitar. Be an art director for a new movie. Well, I don't even know what what that even entails. I got no clue. See, this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, I kind of came into the industry through the back door. It's interesting. So I'd imagine art director is like you give the vibe of the movie, like you direct the art. You've got artists that are doing work and you sort of say tweak. Actually, no, I lie. I have worked with an art director once for a project that I can't talk about. And that was a delightful experience. Something still feels off. I think it's the balance. You wouldn't hold the guitar like that. Like it's got a balance on his leg. So the guitar's sort of got to come here. Maybe the guitar's too big. The hand. Sugar Bee's good. Good. Ray, welcome. Did I celebrate Father's Day? Yeah, Australian Father's Day was a while ago. Can't even remember when it was, but I think, yeah, I think you're in the US? Yeah. We have different Father's and Mother's Days, I think. Appreciate it, Vampy. Oh, God, that's fantastic. Glad to hear it. So if you're holding something, right, maybe that's better. So it's little things like that. How would you hold something instead of it just hanging there? Maybe. So we might have a belt of sorts. Still want to push this a little bit more. Let's play with the hair though. So there's like a little bit of a line like that going through, which is kind of cool. Vampy, no, I appreciate it. Does it? It's cool. I like it. Just having you guys pop in, me doing what I'll be all doing anyway. And yeah, no, I appreciate you popping in. Chris, it does take time. It definitely takes time. It's a transition that I had to make. You've got to go from being so tied to the reference versus sort of inventing the forms, kind of. So that's where, yeah, focusing on simple shapes is really helpful. I think even, yeah, having the guitar tilted a little bit forward as well is even more of just like a, I'm not, is what do you want from me sort of thing. So if we even simplify this as a rectangle. Right, then we can get a better idea. But the issue is, if that's the case, then this neck has to come more towards us, which is going to push the arm even more forward. So maybe we don't want it that far forward. And then it's more like, I appreciate it, Kai. Yeah, Chris, don't lose hope. Nah, it's frustrating. Believe me. Frustration is now my friend. It's not. It's like that friend that just hangs around. You're like, yeah, I guess whatever. They're just going to be there. But it's going to be very frustrating. And I still get frustrated. I've not figured it out yet. You know what I mean? It's always going to be frustrating. So yeah, don't give up. Mark, we are playing around with this Hobie bloke and trying this pose. So the interior, oh, very cool, Kai. That's awesome. Maybe the guitar back is resting on his leg, tilting back away from us. Okay, so instead of forward, I do want, though, there to be tension on the guitar strap here, what's coming off of his arm. So I'm thinking about that as well. So that's kind of like stopping it falling forward. So then if it's like falling back, then it's, I don't know. I like the forward motion to it. It gives it a little bit more dimension, but it's a good suggestion though. Shy Kai. We've got a couple of Kais in here. Awesome, Chris. Yeah, keep at it. Alright, so that's the... Let's go back to old mate Diego, see what he says about... I like to do this every now and then. Go back to see how other artists will think about different ways of drawing stuff. So I'm looking for the arm. There's a particular way that he draws the arm and the elbow that I really like. Yeah, like he boxes off the wrist. Yeah. That kind of deal. Alright. something like that. That's cool. Super Trooper. So this is Diego Diluc, Diluc on Instagram. Highly recommend. I know him personally. He's fantastic. He's a fantastic teacher as well. Looking away and thinking of the pose is so 100%. 100%. Because there's like a feeling that I want to get from this. It's not just being all technical. Like if I went in here and got all like the little muscles and all that sort of stuff all correct, that's all well and good. But yeah, the overall feel of the pose, giving yourself a break, going, doing some squats, doing whatever. I want to hook up the drum kit somehow. So then maybe we like play a song or like a cover as like a break. So I get that practice in with my art practice. That'd be sick. I don't know if you guys would like that. I would find that fun. Rendering this guy's going to be fun as well. Doing the painting. Might play around with a lot of textures, I reckon. Fun fact, I've been playing guitar. Well, I've played guitar for a very long time. Haven't picked it up too much. I pick it up every now and then. Used to play it a lot in high school. That was my main thing. Was a guitar. When I went to America, when I was like 13, 14, I went to, I think it was Guitar Center. Maybe it was Guitar Center, I'm not sure. Oh no, it was like Squid Guitars. Squid Guitars in LA, I think. And then I did go to Guitar Center at one stage. Got myself a Gibson Les Paul. I didn't get myself. My lovely parents got it for me as a gift. Because I did not have that kind of cash when I was 13. But yeah, I think it was a birthday present. Favorite guitarist was Slash from Guns N' Roses, and that was his guitar. Oof. I didn't get the Sunburst Orange though. It's like a wood finish. It looks sick. Gibson Les Paul Studio. Thanks, Shy Kai. Celador, do it. Yeah, I've got to figure it out though. Vampy, awesome. It's like music break for the musicians, and then we have a fitness break as well. That'd be sick. See how he's like kind of balancing? Like it's all in balance. Kind of. It's not there just yet, but it's it's getting there. Alright, I think it's knockback time. And then we continue. I'm going to have to head off soon as well. My partner, she's heading overseas today. So I want to spend a bit of time with her before she heads off. Alright. Use an old mate as a reference. So I want to see. Oh, fucking get in focus. So the lip. I'm just trying to look at the shapes. There's not enough light on him. But yeah, okay, and even how the hair goes, I can use that as reference. Yep, let's go maybe reference cam. Coffee break for the caffeine addicts, that's exactly right. Chris, fantastic. I want to find a way to actually tilt him back. That's what I want. Books. Well, we've got Think and Grow Rich and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Sick. I like. All right, the nose has got to be more angles. Arrows, I like it. I appreciate it, Mark. Thanks so much. Under neon lighting, gonna tag you on my Insta story for heart. Yeah, I don't have any advice just off the bat, unfortunately, because neon lighting is a tricky one. I would say, just like as a general rule or idea, I guess, is to think about the simplest forms when it comes to lighting. The simple 3D shapes, because without understanding that, I would have no idea where the lights and the shadows need to go. Now, I'm not copying this 100%. I'm not trying to get exactly how this sculpture is, but I want to get more of that head tilt back, you know. Shaika, when did I start drawing like this? About 2 years ago. Prashan, I'm good. How you doing? Augustina, welcome. Primal, I'm looking at the recording at the moment because the sculpture is over here. So I'm looking at OBS at the moment. Augustina, awesome. Welcome to being an artist. Oh, I have an issue with that word. I don't know why. It just makes me feel icky. An artist. It sounds, to me, just personally, I would never call myself an artist. Or it just feels, I don't know. I talked about this on the podcast the other day. It seems a little like, I don't know, not, but other people call themselves this. So this is just my for me personally. Like, I'll call other people artists, but just calling myself that, it seems a little like pretentious-y. I don't know. It just seems a little bit grandiose. I'm just having fun with it. I'm just making cool shit. I don't know. I'm really not precious with my with my stuff, which helps with iteration and changing things and that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, that's just for me, not for anyone else. That's just, I don't know, I just feel weird. I make things, there you go. Sounds like imposter syndrome. Could be a sprinkling of that. Oh, Agostini, you have a channel, awesome. Simple form, someone who does art, super trooper, true. But it is a very like blanket statement as well, because I feel like even coding and like software development, there's like art in that. I get the same feeling from it as well. Like I'm getting good vibes from this at the moment. I would get similar sort of feelings from, yeah, working on my website, coding stuff up, making little apps here and there, doing the plugin, same. I do like, he does have bigger eyes, doesn't he? Like the iris is. But also, I'm not trying to get it one-to-one with the current character design as well, so got to keep that in mind. Augustina, fantastic. Mark, I can be multiple things. That's it. Try and put me in a box. I dare you. Good luck. See, now I'm really simplifying these shapes, which I'm liking. I'm liking the bigger, more simplified shapes. Mm. To think about it, the eyes are going to be kind of sitting in the head a little bit backwards like this, right? Notice I do it myself. I'm trying to get the even if I'm doing the lips, I'm like trying to get the lip movements right. Vampy, yeah, that's it. Yeah, same. Joe, welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you in here. No, a modeling adjacent stream. I like it. It's like science adjacent. Does anyone watch? Who's that? Who are they? They're a couple. They do craft stuff with resin. Evan and Caitlin. I love their stuff. Now that's not a ring. That's not a nose ring, is it? That's lighting, I think. Because if we look at, or is it a nose ring? Maybe he does have a nose ring. Yeah, maybe he does have a nose ring. Yep, he's got a nose ring. Okay, my mistake. Or does he? Is that a nose ring or not? I'm so confused. Nah, he does have a nose ring. There we go. I like his mouth to be slightly open, like just a little bit like. Kai, you want to draw Mike? Mike Wazowski. Here we go. Let's see if we can draw Mike. He's a sphere with another sphere for the eyeball. And then he's got like this hump there, I think. And then he's got the arms coming out. And he's got the legs. I love Monsters Inc. Then he's got Memory Mike Wazowski. There you go. I can't remember what I'm probably missing some stuff for sure. Little tangent. All right. Stay focused, Ben. Focus. So if you do that, your nose goes up. That thing happens. Vampy, yeah, it's a habit. And I don't see myself stopping it anytime soon. The JoJo style. No, I haven't seen that. Oh, Augustina, thank you so much. No, awesome. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. Catch you later, Super. You have a good one. Sugar beets, good idea. Food will help. Draw Pixar characters from memory. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. That's not a bad idea. Good one, Joe. Uh-oh. It's too quiet in here. Where's my view more? No. There we go. You see how I've got the thinking behind this though? I'm not just throwing in the lower lids just willy-nilly. I'm thinking about the structure of the eye as well. Let's push this expression. How far can we push it? Like, that's probably too far, but there we go, no nose. We just have that. That's a little bit too much, maybe. Let's knock the mouth down. Yeah, a little bit too much maybe. Don't hate it though. Kai, no, don't be sorry. You're all good. Forky from memory. Nice. Catch you later, Augustina. Thank you so much for popping in. Hobie the Trend. I was just thinking that, Aries. He looks like, yeah, he does. Without the nose. Rick Black. No, not Medusa. I can see where you could think that though. Why you might think that. Just have some like snake heads out the side there. I think his eyes might even be more closed because he's looking down even more. So he's like looking down the lens in disgust. This is seeming a little bit more interesting. From their description alone. Drawing characters from their description alone. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Jazza do that. That's pretty cool. Augustina. Appreciate the hustle. So even these things, I'm thinking about the perspective of them, like the little whatever they like, the diamantes or whatever you call them. So he might have his spider suit on underneath here. That's a little reminder for me. So you have all those little bits and bobs on there. Oh, what a compliment. CPEE 656. That means a lot. Thank you so much. The legs are a little bit too chunky. See, we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we'll get there. Catch you later, Ares. Great to have you. All right. I reckon I'll go for another half hour. Well, maybe 20 minutes. Then I shall call it a stream. Kai, nice one. I designed. Do I have any recommendations for learning to paint digitally? It's a pretty broad question. Depends what you're trying to paint. Painting digitally and I guess painting in traditional, they share a lot of similar stuff, you know. The fundamentals are more or less the same. Catch you later, Ray. Appreciate you. Yeah, so I design. If you can give me some more context on what you're trying to draw. Twisty. I like the announcement. How you doing? For learning to paint digitally, I would really like. It sounds, I mean, it's a broad question, so it's kind of like I'll give you a broad answer. I'd focus on the fundamentals of what I've been talking about, simple shapes. Because if I didn't have the understanding of simple shapes, I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff, you know. Because everything here, there's no magical technique or trick that I'm using to get this to look right, if that makes sense. It's all methodically going through and thinking, okay, what is and isn't looking correct based on my understanding of simple shapes and sort of perspective and all that sort of stuff. Earlier on in the stream, I did go through a few techniques of simplified shapes with the head in particular. Seeing and having a bit of a time with the lighting, but getting there. Good to hear it, Twisty. That's all right. The struggle makes it worth it. Light fall off is fun. It is when it works and it starts to look good. I definitely agree with that. But it can be frustrating at times. Big if, that's it. This is going to be an effort to render, that's for sure. I might by choice do it a more loose style. We'll see. This is where I'm going to use the Filthy plugin. Shout out. You can get it in the link in the description. It's a plugin that I have developed along with my good friend Francis, and it does all sorts of stuff. But this is its main use, is autofilling. Now in the latest update of Photoshop, there's this thing called a contextual taskbar. I like to toggle that off because it can sometimes interfere with it. Just want to frame him. Just to see how his silhouette's sort of feeling. Kind of looks like a magazine cover, which is, I dig that, that's cool. Yeah, look, not hating it. It's not bad. Not bad, we're getting there. No, wrong way, wrong way, wrong way. Yeah, that'll do. Also, in the latest update, we've got the delete option for the autofill. So I can come through and just clean up some areas if I want. which is super handy. Then I can come back in and fill as I please. Cool. All right. I might call that a stream, everyone. Yeah, Twisty, it is. It's Hobie Brown. This you do with Filthy. It's also kind of a tutorial on a way to get people to buy it. Yeah, I've done that a little bit in my reels. Now I've got a lot more free time to make content. I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. But it's, yeah. I want to be tasteful with mentioning it. I'd only put it in there if I would actually use it for a piece, if that makes sense. But yeah, before I do head off, speaking of promos, but yeah, really quickly, this is where we got to. So pretty happy with this guy. I might go and finish him up in my own time. But appreciate you guys coming along for the journey. Quick thing before I head off. Gumroad tutorial. If you like this sort of stylized stuff, links in the description. It takes you through, it's a walkthrough tutorial, right? So it's me taking you through from sketch to sort of painting and rendering of a character. It's 8 hours broken up into chapters. You get a 40-page PDF field guide if you like to read and sort of follow along with that. It comes with 3D models and all sorts of fun stuff. So you can check that out. We've also got the Filthy plugin. Autofill stuff saves me a ton of time. It has a bunch of different features in there as well that I've done a bunch of different streams using it. It's something that I've developed alongside my business partner and good friend Francis. Everything's in the description there. Speaking of that, I've got a podcast. If you like the content creation side of things and the behind the scenes and business side of stuff, we've got a weekly podcast where Francis and myself, we talk about all that stuff, what we're working on, what's working, what's not, real numbers about stuff as well, so you can get an idea of what it's like behind the scenes if you're a content creator yourself. What else? Keep an eye out for when I drop a batch of sculpts. That's not going to be for a little while, but some of these sculptures I'm going to start releasing as well. And I think that's it. beneblin.com has all my stuff on there. So yeah, all the links in the description. I appreciate you taking the time to join me today. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's good to get back into it. Missed last week and it felt wrong. So yeah, I will, all going well. I think I'll see you probably same time, 10:30 ACST. I think it is ACST, Australian Central Standard Time. And yeah, Twisty. Yeah, I know. I got to head off today, but I'll just catch up with chat quickly. But yeah, catch you later, everyone. See you later, Mark, Prashant. Appreciate ya, Kai. Catch you later. All right. On that note, I'll catch you in the next one. Whoop.